So the headline reads, can Juventus save Italian soccer? Everyone's got their own perspective whether Italian soccer needs to be saved. That's up to you. I think we can all agree that from a European stance, it does. They haven't been represented as much in the latter stages. But Juventus this year, semi-finalists against Real Madrid, taking a 2-1 win, going to Madrid. This is obviously filmed before. We don't know if they're already out by the time this goes up. Might happen or not. But the article goes in to talk about how the Italian league is not something that is watched as much. It is, as we said, their stance in the latter stages of the European competition is not there compared to the days of AC Milan and Inter Milan, or Internazionale that Jason just realised is the same team.
I knew. I played on FIFA.
Those were the days, the Marco van Basten days.
Yeah. Those were awesome.
You're younger, but
and even with AC Milan, with their Kaká days when he was in his prime at AC Milan, I still love watching them.
They had Gabriel Batistuta playing in Fiorentina. They had Ronaldo when he was there for a while before his injuries really deterred him. But those were the days when they had stars. Now we're not seeing the stars in Italy. We're seeing them in Spain. We're seeing them in the Premier League.
And you get guys like maybe Carlos Tevez who's coming over, it was a surprise decision that he went to Juventus. I think it was a great decision for his career because he's playing frequently, he's scoring a lot of goals, and he's taking his game to the next level, which I think a lot of people do in Italy because you get that chance.
But the problem that I see with this is that you have people like Carlos Tevez come over to Juventus and join the Serie A, but then you have the rising of Paul Pogba, who's probably going to be gone almost immediately, and that's a young talent that could potentially help Serie A soccer become obviously back to the top of its ranks. But if he leaves, and that's not the only person. I mean, Jeremy Menez on AC Milan is having a great goal-scoring run of form. And those teams like AC Milan and Inter played, of course, this season, as they always do, and what I'm sure is a huge rivalry game, was the highest attendance in Serie A soccer this year with 80,000 proud standing on their feet.
Yeah, the fans still go to the big games of AC Milan and Inter, but you made a good point, Pablo. Is the star names, like you say Tevez, you say Pogba.
But Tevez wasn't a star when he went to Juventus. He was debating retiring. He was debating going back to play with Boca Juniors again. I mean, what I love about Carlos Tevez, put him in whatever league the guy wins. West Ham in England, he won. Manchester, I mean, he saved them. Manchester United as well. Then he plays in Argentina. He's a winner there. Goes to Italy. They win there. The guy's talent can shift leagues.
Yeah, and he performs well when he's given the opportunity and when he's not got players around him that's crowding him. Because when he plays with guys around him who might take away some of the light from him and not provide him with the possession as much, he won't thrive as well. At Juventus, he's the main man up top. Morata's a good player, plays well with him, but he's the main man. But other teams don't have the star players. When you look at AC Milan, they used to have their guys like Kaká, even before then, your Seedorf, your Inzaghi's. They all had star players respectively and amongst their team. It seems like the golden generation has moved on. Totti, Nesta, Cannavaro, all those guys who played in the Italian league, who won World Cups, moved on. No one really has taken their place.
Well, the money has moved on to other leagues. And strikers, where's the money? Francis, when you score goals. In Italy, they actually play defense, and they hit really hard. So why not go to Spain, where they don't defend as much, where you can score easier goals? Tevez put up 20 goals this season. That is incredibly impressive. But it's not easy, and there's just more money in England and in Spain.
Yeah, and so what I wanted to talk about, though, is I think people need to, this season, really take notice about how Italy is coming forward, because people do not take the Europa League as seriously. But Fiorentina and Napoli are two teams that I imagine Fiorentina just suffered to the hands of Sevilla, but I imagined they put up a good fight in the latter stages of the Europa League. And this is something that an article came out and said that England have to do more to get back to that European level, to get back of being a driving force in Europe in the latter stages, is concentrate on the Europa League, because they don't have Everton with the team that are into the latter stages. Tottenham out, Liverpool out. And then in the Champions League, obviously Chelsea, Manchester City, Man United weren't even in it this year. They're not playing in the latter stages of the competition. So focus on the Europa League. Treat it the way it used to be, like the UEFA Cup. So this year, Italy are definitely making a resurgence, because you've got Juventus in the latter stages of Champions League, and you've got Napoli and Fiorentina in the semi-finals. One of them probably destined for the final.
Well, my question, I guess, then becomes, what does a league do to bring in more talent, or at least bring in more competition to make them stand a chance against La Ligas, where you have two of the world's best football players, and Premier League, who just constantly beat themselves up and can't make any runs in Europe? But what do you do as a league? Is there an organization? Is there someone who can come down and say, no, we need to go spend X amount of money to get X amount of players?
Well, it's not a league situation. It's clubs, and there's money. There's just such a huge gap between the amount of money that some teams get. In all leagues, it's the same thing. But especially with TV rights, there's just not that much money for Italian teams that you're seeing with La Liga, with the Premier League teams.
So it crosses over to basically every sport. It seems that it comes down to money.
It comes down to money.
There's 3 or 4 teams that can afford the players.
And it comes down to the players as well, because if you're a star player, you'll go to to Italy. If you want to go to Italy, I imagine players don't, in their mind, want to go to Italy to be their first decision. That's the problem. Players in their prime.
Where do they?
Will want to go. Will want to go either England or Spain. That's the way it goes. Sometimes they'll go to Germany. Obviously, that does happen. A lot of
Germany is an amazing
league, and it's competitive. And what happens, though, I imagine, is a lot of German players who are already in that league stick to it. So, like the players, we know Dortmund's feeder system to Bayern Munich at the moment with all those players that are going there. But if you're a star man, like take for instance a James Rodriguez, who's coming up from the World Cup, he's looking at Real Madrid. He's looking, if not Real Madrid, at England, and it's sad because team players used to look at Italy, and I think they will it's starting to get back that way. But as you said, it's down to money, whether they can sign the players, and it's down to their stature in Europe, because players will want to win a league, but you can only win a league so much, and you're like, all right, I'm winning this league. Like Juventus, Pogba, if they keep winning the Serie A and they're not going to the latter stage of the Champions League final, and trying to put up a competitive run, he'll move elsewhere, because the Champions League is what players want to be.
So maybe for me, this is, I guess, an American sports mentality, but I always thought that it really, from league to league, it's really the top clubs that obviously players want to go to, but Inter and AC Milan have history.
Yeah,
for
big history.
Hundreds of, maybe not hundreds, but decades.
Yes.
In success in the Champions League, success in Europe, success within the Serie A when it was at the top of its ranks. But maybe it's just the perception I had coming into this that would carry enough weight to grab players, but obviously it does not.
Yeah. Well, defensive players love playing in Italy. Goalies like playing in Italy. I think the strikers, what's catching the headlines, goal scorers, the Messis, the Ronaldos,
what sells.
They do not want to play in Italy. In Italy, it's tough soccer, hard-hitting soccer, few goals. I mean, games don't end 6-2 like in La Liga. It's very close. In Germany, it's now wide open. The Bundesliga is open, so they're getting tons of talent. They're getting Brazilians playing like crazy in the Bundesliga, and you're not seeing that in Italy. It's just a different type of game.
Yeah, and well, what I want to see in Italy more is players that are we are talking about defending, but focus so much on defending that it's almost a joy to watch. Because as much as Inter Milan were defensive when they won the Champions League, I mean, don't get me wrong, this was only 5 years ago. It is a long time in football, but 2010 was when Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan won the competition, and they had arguably the best striker in the world at the moment, Diego Milito. He went into the World Cup in 2014, scoring the most amount of goals in Europe.
But they would win games 1-0.
They would win games 1-0, but they were so good in the way they played that you had to respect it, similar to the way Chelsea is. But even now, Juventus are good at defending, but AC Milan and Inter Milan, they're not even good at that anymore. They still concede goals against lower teams. AC Milan are 10th in the league. That is astounding. That's why, as much as they're boycotting Berlusconi and the spending in Italy, is because they're not drawing in the star talent anymore. Jeremy Menez is their star player. Don't get me wrong.
Well, Arturo Vidal was a big addition.
It was a big addition.
Carlos Tevez is 30-some years old, a big addition. I mean, this is a Neymar, going over to Barcelona.
That's why I said it's like Neymar's a perfect example. The young guy coming through the ranks. Where's he going to go? He's not going to go to Italy. He's looking Barcelona, Real Madrid are your first two teams. Then now even PSG are coming up as a resurgent team that people are looking at. Pogba, as you said, I imagine he might not go this year. There is a lot of rumours. Manchester City are set to try and make an offer, including Yaya Toure. That shows how much they want to get him.
But it's still an extremely good league. I respect the Italian league more than the French league. Yeah, there's PSG, Olympique Lyon, and that's it. Maybe Monaco every now and then. The Italian league's a good league. It's just not going to be fan-friendly because the superstars are not going to be playing there.
Yeah, and that's a good point to end on, but we want to know what you guys think. So, I mean, and to be fair, as I said to the start, to reiterate that point to our Serie A fans, they're doing better this year. You have teams...
Is Juventus knocking out Real?
No, I'm afraid not. I think 1-0 Real Madrid. Yeah, what do you think as well?
I want Barcelona, Real Madrid final.
Yeah, so do I. There's a lot of people that don't for some reason, but I think you're crazy. Why would you not want, in their prime, two of the world's best players coming head-to-head in the Champions League final?
Because what is a better drama than seeing Chiellini stare down Luis Suarez?
Oh, that is a pretty good point. Good point. And Patrice Evra, who he racially abused. So you've got Suarez, two of his enemies.
I'm putting Messi, Ronaldo side by side. Yeah, I'd rather see that.
I can't wait to see that. So what do you guys want to see? And what do you think the Italian League are doing or should be doing to try and get back to the way they were before? Leave your comments in the section below. From Pablo, Jason, and Francis, come back and subscribe to TYT Sports.